Jocelyn, let's go to you because we ended up working closely one-on-one, very closely one-on-one for 4 years after that, um, the Dream School Project mastermind program, which wasn't even a mastermind then. What do you remember? It was a lot of time we had together. It was amazing.
Yeah, I might need you to like pull
Help
certain
us
things out.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a really long time. But
Yeah.
so college application
Yeah,
or
or
like
just the process itself, whatever stands out to you if
um
you look back.
I think it's kind of important to like give a little bit background for my family. Like
Yeah.
like my parents and I like came to the US like when I was like 12. So I
Yeah.
think for me a lot of it is like I didn't really know the culture and kind of how the system works. So
Yeah.
just in terms of that. So like looking back to the process with you, I think I would categorize it as like a huge chunk of it is more on the personal growth rather than the application.
Yeah.
And for the whole time you were kind of like, oh, we will worry about that later, and um we don't need to
Yeah.
worry about it now, which I now looking back I think it's really good because now my mom has like completely different approach with my younger sister. And
Oh, that's great to
like
hear. Very
like
cool.
I think looking back, I just realized what I know in high school was so little about how, like the college application itself, and
Right.
it wasn't like I planned to do these things, and and it was more like I got to the point of senior year and looking back like, oh, what are some things we can like pull out and
Yeah.
stuff. So uh yeah. Do you want to have
Yeah,
some
your evolution of how you developed your interest in your process was so interesting, and it's so reflective of real life, right? Which I think school often doesn't feel like it's connected to real life, right? And so you started with your interest, your passion. You saw this film on dolphins being slaughtered in Japan. I remember that was
right?
the mastermind, and then that spawned interest from there. And to tell us a little bit about what happened from there.
Oh yeah, so like I saw a documentary about like I think it's called like, oh shoot, I don't even remember the name of.
Something Cove,
Oh yeah, I think it's
right?
called Cove. Um,
Yeah,
and I think that was just anger. I mean, it was just a really well done film, so of course, like you will get really like angry after.
passionate. Yeah, yeah,
So I think for a long time I thought, oh, that's like passion, like because I'm feeling emotional about it. But
yeah.
as time progressed, like that emotion start to fade. And actually like I just started college, so this first year I didn't take any environmental science class, and towards like the spring I was even kind of questioning. I was like Jocelyn, is this still like what you're interested in? Because I
Right.
think I don't feel the emotional drive with it like as
As
much as
much.
when I
Yeah.
first learned about the issue. But I
Yep.
realized that like now I'm just looking at it more from like different perspectives,
Yep.
and like because sustainability you can literally connect it with any discipline. So
Anything,
I think for me
everything.
right now I'm looking
Yeah.
for the angle that I want to connect sustainability to. But back
Beautiful.
then in high school, so I watched a film, so I thought maybe I was really into marine biology. I did some camps at New England Aquarium,
Yep.
and I remember we had to like dissect a shark or something, and
Yeah.
I just
You
got
were
so
like, "No,
out by
that's
it. I was
not."
like, no, 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 this is not for me. And
Yep.
so yeah, I switched, and I remember Elizabeth was saying how like maybe Jocelyn, you should like take a step back, and maybe climate change is the better one. So I started doing a lot of research, and I was into like the sustainability with fashion industry for a while,
Yep.
fast fashion. And I think ultimately I think the core that I wanted was to have to see behavior change with people
Yeah. Yeah.
about being more sustainable. So like in high
Mhm.
school, I think that was something I always guilt myself, was that I will do clubs in high school, and we would oh, I think one of the biggest thing was towards the end I actually worked on making a composting program and started
Right.
that in
At your school.
at
Yeah.
my school. So like I think for me, I just really cared about the actual change, and that was something
Yeah.
I feel like I think that was the motivation that was like, I was like, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough because people are not still not changing. They still don't know recycling, blah blah blah. Um,
Yeah.
it was just a lot.
And that was the biggest question for you. So when you ended up coming down to Asheville for your summer before your senior year, you
Right.
created this beautiful film with your mentor and your filmmaking mentor. And that was the big question that you had, is how can I instill and inspire true change in other people? And you had to ask some deep questions about that, didn't you?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was a lot of like debates in my head, and that was like kept like fighting, and
Yep.
because
Yep.
people were saying different things, and I'm someone who's easily convinced by others, so like I don't have a stand like a firm ground, so like people say something, I'll say, oh, I think I agree with that, and then someone says like the opposite thing, and in my head
Yeah.
I'm, why can't like why they, how come both I can how can like I can agree with both, right? So like I
Yeah.
think that was the biggest thing. That was a really cool experience, but I think probably in life we'll go through like different like cycles of that. And
Absolutely. And the whole process of your kind of I think of it as like jumping from lily pad to lily pad, right? You tried this and then this and then this and then this. And it wasn't linear, right? It often felt messy. Even in junior year, you said, oh, maybe I'll make a film, and it was at first going to be an animated film inspired by this beautiful film, this Chinese film that you had seen about the environment, and you thought, oh,
right.
maybe I'll do something like that. And then and I said, well, you're in junior year. I don't know if you're going to get the animation skills, as quickly as you want. So how about you just go ahead and create a documentary, and you produce this gorgeous 3-minute film which took the whole summer and deep reflection. But
Right.
your whole process was just trying this, which led to this, which led to this. And now you're saying you're in college and you're not necessarily still connected to the field of marine biology or climate change, but you're connected to the passion that it woke in you for tr- inspiring change in the realm of sustainability.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like a little bit about the college experience. I think when I first so right now I'm at Wellesley College, and
Yeah.
when I first got in, there was this like I think econ is huge there. Like
Huge. They have a great econ department there.
econ is huge,
Yeah.
and I just kind of got sucked into all the clubs and stuff, and
Right.
people are, like they really know how to network and
Okay.
really
Oh,
like present
great.
themselves, and they really like I think the thought of like they really know what they want and like the steps and stuff. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like these people are like the ones that like I want to be and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think for me like I kept doubting. I was like, oh, do I want to go in econ? And like, do I not? And like,
Yeah.
and part of it's for my mom, but but anyway, so I went through that whole phase, and but I think recently I've landed that I might be interested into like architecture and urban
Okay.
planning, just
Yeah.
so like I don't know. I think right like I think for me, knowing myself, work related to design and creativity will excite me more rather than
Yeah.
following like a systematic kind of like procedure. And like
Yeah.
I hate following rules and like doing the same things over and over again. But I
Yeah.
think so like um yeah, so that was just interesting how like
Yeah.
I remember like I would take one class, like I took a writing class on art history, and I really liked it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go into art history. And I took a class on like computer science. I was like, okay, coding seems like kind of fun, like it feels really
Yeah.
rewarding after you get the codes to work and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So I think that's just always me, I guess. Like I'm just always jumping around and like
Yeah, and that's the point of college, honestly. And in a minute, when we touch on that with each of you about your college experience, that's the point, is to try things out and change and not just get on a track necessarily. Some people go in like, William, you had a very clear track. You knew which direction you wanted to go. But for a lot of people, it's such a time of exploration.
yeah.
It's really cool to hear about that. Yeah.
Oh, I also want to say about like the college application.
Mm.
Um, like I know one of the questions you had was like if you have any advice. My only advice is if you can apply to schools early, do that. Like for me,
Yeah.
my thought was that, oh, like, you know, EA and regular, like there's no binding
Right.
whatsoever. So it's okay. Like I can just apply all of them for like regulars, but I
Yeah.
thought about the waiting time.
The
Like I
waiting,
cannot
I
consider that.
know. It's
So I
nerve-wracking.
applied to like ED and I got rejected. So like and I didn't do like ED2 either. So I
Yeah.
the whole time I was like, all my friends are like
Nerve-wracking.
going and blah blah blah. So I literally heard like all my decisions in regular. So I think that
Yeah. That's a long time of waiting and
I
wondering it's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
totally
great
did
advice.
not factor the waiting time. But I think another thing is that like college is a lot about match. And for me,
Yeah.
I change constantly. So I think before like when you choose your ED school, you think, oh, this is the one for you. But I think towards
Yeah.
like when I was hearing the decision
Yeah.
from that school, I realized, okay, like that might not be for me. So I
Right.
think if you're someone that's like you don't really know who you are quite, or you don't really know what type of schools like that's good for you, kind of just leave it and apply to different kinds and leave the decision to like I think at first I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't come to Wellesley, like that's not it, like it's way too close to home and
I know it's just down the road from you.
yeah, so like I was like, no, 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 no. But like I
Yeah.
think now I'm there, I realized like the people who I'm like exposed to are like
Yeah.
you can kind of see there's kind of a trend. And like
Yeah.
interestingly, I was talking to a lot of people and we were talking about what we wrote for like our personal statement. And I just like from all the people I talked to who got into Wellesley, a lot of them are about like personal growth. So I don't
Oh.
know. I think there's something, like I
Yep.
think different schools pick different kinds of essays and there are
Yeah,
kind of
agreed.
do these personal growth kind of essays. But I just thought that was something I wanted to share because
Yeah,
that's
that's
for me.
great
Like if you
advice.
don't know what schools that's good for you, just leave it to, they
Yeah, applying to a range. I love that. I think that's really smart. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Jocelyn.